Imagine sending your children to the beach on a warm summer morning, watching them leave the house with smiles on their faces, expecting them to be back home before dinner, and then never seeing them again. No ransom note, no witnesses to an abduction, no bodies, no answers, just 3 children who seem to vanish into thin air. For nearly 60 years, Australia has been haunted by one question: what happened to the Beaumont children? Even today, investigators, journalists, and ordinary people continue searching for answers. Because this wasn't just another missing persons case. This was a mystery so disturbing that it changed the way Australian parents raised their children forever. 3 siblings disappeared from a crowded beach in broad daylight. Hundreds of people were nearby, yet nobody saw what happened. How is that even possible? And who was the mysterious man seen with the children just hours before they vanished forever? Tonight, we dive deep into Australia's most terrifying missing person mystery. The story of Jane, Arnna, and Grant Beaumont. A case that remains unsolved to this very day. Welcome back to Shadow Whispers. Turn down the lights, and let's begin. To understand why this case shocked an entire nation, we first need to travel back to Australia in the 1960s. Life was very different. Crime rates were lower, communities were close-knit, parents trusted their neighborhoods, children played outside without constant supervision, they walked to school alone, visited friends alone, and often spent entire afternoons away from home. Nobody thought twice about it. It was normal. The Beaumont family lived in the city of Adelaide, South Australia. They were an ordinary middle-class family. Nothing about them stood out. They weren't wealthy. They weren't famous. They were simply parents trying to give their children a happy life. Their children were 9-year-old Jane Beaumont, 7-year-old Arnna Beaumont, and 4-year-old Grant Beaumont. The siblings were known for being polite, responsible, and well-behaved, especially Jane. Despite being only 9 years old, she often helped care for her younger brother and sister. Their parents trusted them completely. That trust would soon be shattered forever. January 26, 1966. Australia Day. The weather was beautiful. Clear blue skies stretched across Adelaide. Temperatures were warm. Perfect beach weather. That morning, Jane asked her mother if she and her younger siblings could spend the day at Glenelg Beach. This wasn't unusual. The children had visited the beach before. It was only a short bus ride away. After some discussion, their parents agreed. The children prepared for a fun day by the ocean. They packed towels, put on their swimsuits, and headed out the front door. Nobody realized it would be the last time they were ever seen by their parents. Around 10 a.m., the 3 siblings boarded a bus toward Glenelg Beach. Witnesses later remembered seeing them. They appeared happy, excited. Just 3 children looking forward to a day in the sun. Nothing seemed unusual. Nothing seemed suspicious. Yet somewhere between that bus ride and the end of the afternoon, something went horribly wrong. Glenelg Beach was crowded. Families filled the shoreline. Children played in the waves. Tourists relaxed in the sunshine. The atmosphere was cheerful and peaceful. The Beaumont children spent hours enjoying the beach. Numerous witnesses later confirmed seeing them. Several remembered watching the children swim. Others saw them playing in the sand. Everything appeared completely normal. But then investigators uncovered something that would change the entire case. Several witnesses reported seeing the children with an unidentified man. At first glance, nothing seemed suspicious. The children looked relaxed around him. They appeared comfortable, even happy. Some witnesses assumed he was a family friend. Others thought he might be a relative. Nobody had any reason to suspect danger. But this mysterious stranger would become one of the most important clues in Australian criminal history. As police interviewed witnesses, a detailed description began to emerge. The man was believed to be between 25 and 35 years old. He had blonde hair, a tanned complexion, an athletic build. And according to witnesses, he seemed incredibly confident. The most disturbing detail wasn't how he looked. It was how the children behaved around him. They didn't appear frightened. They didn't seem uncomfortable. In fact, they acted as though they trusted him completely. This puzzled investigators. How could 3 children become so comfortable with a stranger? Had they met him before? Had he spent time gaining their trust? Or was he simply skilled at manipulating children? These questions remain unanswered, but one thing became clear. If this man was involved, he had somehow convinced the children to lower their guard, and that made him extremely dangerous. One witness would later provide investigators with a clue that made the mystery even stranger. A local shopkeeper reported seeing Jane purchase food and snacks during the day. Normally, this wouldn't seem important, but there was one major problem. The children didn't have enough money for what they bought. Their parents had only given them a small amount of cash, yet Jane paid using a much larger banknote. Where did it come from? Had someone given it to her? Was the mysterious man paying for the children, or was another person involved? Investigators believe this clue suggested the children had spent time with an unknown adult, someone who may have earned their trust, someone who may have been guiding their movements throughout the day, and perhaps someone who planned exactly what would happen next. As afternoon turned into evening, the Beaumont children should have been heading home. Their parents expected them back before dinner, but they never arrived. Hours passed. No sign of the children. At first, their mother believed they might simply be late. Perhaps they missed a bus. Perhaps they stayed longer at the beach. But as darkness approached, concern became fear. The Beaumont family began searching. They contacted friends, neighbors, relatives, anyone who might know where the children had gone. Nobody knew anything. The children had simply disappeared. And with every passing minute, the situation became more terrifying. Eventually, police were called. Australia's greatest mystery had just begun. The search operation was enormous. Police officers combed through beaches, parks, drainage systems, buildings, vacant lots, and every location imaginable. Volunteers joined the effort. Search teams worked tirelessly. Newspapers across Australia published the children's photographs. Radio stations broadcast updates. Television reports spread the story nationwide. People followed every development, every lead, every possible clue. But despite one of the largest search efforts Australia had ever seen, nothing was found. No clothing, no belongings, no evidence, no bodies. It was as if the children had vanished from the face of the earth. The disappearance created panic across Australia. Parents suddenly viewed the world differently. The era of carefree childhood independence began to disappear. Children who once walked alone were now closely supervised. Families became more cautious. Communities became more protective. The case struck a nerve because it challenged a basic belief. People believed crowded public places were safe. Glenelg Beach was packed with witnesses. Hundreds of people were present. Yet somehow 3 children disappeared without a trace. If it could happen there, it could happen anywhere. That realization terrified an entire nation. Over the decades, investigators examined countless suspects. Some were convicted criminals. Others were known child predators. Several individuals even confessed. But every confession eventually fell apart. Evidence didn't match. Timelines failed. Stories changed. No suspect could be definitively linked to the disappearance. One after another, leads went cold. And with each passing year, the mystery grew deeper. Police continued searching. Journalists continued investigating. Researchers continued analyzing the evidence. Yet the truth remained hidden. What really happened to the Beaumont children? Theory number 1 suggests they were abducted by the mysterious blonde man seen at the beach. Many investigators consider this the most likely explanation. Theory number 2 involves an organized kidnapping operation. Supporters believe more than one person may have been involved. Theory number 3 suggests the children were murdered shortly after being taken. If true, the offender may have successfully hidden all evidence. Another theory argues that investigators focused on the wrong suspect entirely. Perhaps the true offender was never identified. Perhaps he blended into the crowd and disappeared forever. The frightening reality is that every theory contains unanswered questions, and every theory ultimately leads back to uncertainty. Nearly 60 years have passed, yet the Beaumont children remain Australia's most famous missing persons case. New investigations have been launched. New suspects have emerged. New searches have been conducted. but none have produced definitive answers. The mystery continues to haunt Australia, not because it is the oldest case, not because it is the biggest case, but because it feels impossible. 3 children disappeared from a crowded public beach during daylight hours, and nobody knows what happened. Even today, investigators hope that one final clue may still exist somewhere. A forgotten witness, a hidden confession, a piece of evidence waiting to be discovered. Perhaps one day the truth will finally emerge. And so the mystery of Jane, Arnna, and Grant Beaumont remains unsolved. A tragedy frozen in time, a case that changed Australia forever, and a question that still echoes across generations. What happened to the Beaumont children? Was it the mysterious man seen with them at the beach? Was it someone investigators never identified? Or is the truth even darker than anyone imagined? Let me know your theory in the comments below. And if you have your own real ghost story, unexplained encounter, paranormal experience, mysterious family legend, or unsolved local mystery, send your story to Shadow Whispers. Your story could be featured in a future video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another mystery from the shadows. Until next time, stay curious, stay alert, and remember, some mysteries never truly disappear.